versa. I feel like that's the easiest one to call. So I really wonder what's going to end up sort of falling to his hands, because Cut could really get the worst ones out ahead.
Yeah, they are going to have that opportunity with phase 3 of the bans coming up. But the other concern I have looking at this lineup for two-based, they have really built themselves up to deal with that bristleback. Fantastic job on that front. Obviously, maybe letting the Shadow Demon through was a slight mistake, but they've got heroes that can potentially deal with this bristle. The problem is, you don't really know what else is coming out from the cut. You have gone all in on taking down the bristle, so now maybe Red 2 gets put in a position like he did in game 1. He was on the Void Spirit in that match, but he was able to sort of have that impact. So I'm just a little bit afraid here for two-base that they're going so all in onto the bristle that they may not necessarily be prepared to deal with the rest of the lineup or the rest of the core trio. Sort of be specific there, as the cut will go in for the Ember with that 4th pick. So it's going to be presumably a matchup of the spirits in the middle lane.
Yeah, and I think as soon as you see that Ember picks up, now you know that this is going to have to be a 3 or a 5 position Viper, so it takes that pressure off. But Red 2, again, we've seen him play this hero. It's one of his best. It's one of his 4 heroes that he feels like it's a little bit of a step above. And while you don't really have the best matchup versus the Void Spirit, it is a little bit annoying versus every single other hero. They don't really do anything to you. It's very low lockdown lineup. You're going to need to get that Yule Scepter on the Mars before any aggression can really come out. And we'll have to see if Monkeys goes for that, because it feels like at the same time he needs to rush that Blink. He needs to get on the back line, because anybody he Yule's combos into Spear should just get saved by the Shadow Demon. So it feels like, again, two-based, while their lineup is definitely more equipped for this bristleback, they need to be so clean with their teammates. They need to be so clean with their execution. And their lineup is pretty hard to execute, I want to say. As simple as it sounds to just spear into bushwhack, into sharpshooter, this Shadow Demon really is just the perfect hero to stop all of that. And if you're focusing all of these spells onto the Bristleback, like you were saying, this Red 2 Ember Spirit is going to come into full swing, and that's where you need to prioritize what resources you're spending on him, how you're keeping him locked down, what you're going to use for the Bristleback, and depending on what Boris ends up playing, I mean, they've got to ban out the Ursa if they ban out the Morphling, but if he gets on too strong of a hero, then I really think two-based are going to struggle, because he can't play slow. He needs to get on something that's going to feel a little bit more useful this game.
Yeah, there's got to be that sort of adjustment to be made. They tried for the PA in game 1, and it just really never felt like Boris was fully online there. But the cut, okay, maybe not feeling quite the same way. They ban out the Medusa instead, so they feel like two-base are going to go for sort of the long con, the longer, further window out there with that Medusa pick. So I don't know. It just seems like that's not quite the way that Simply Two-Base would want to play this one out, and now we do have the danger of that Ursa pickup going their way, and if you get Boris on the Ursa, I think all of a sudden this draft feels quite a bit better for Two-Base. They still have some concerns, but it is going to be a nice little boost if they can secure that hero, but not quite there yet. We have one last ban from Two-Base, and of course the cut can go in for their final pick first, so I have to wait a little bit longer to see what that is. Meanwhile, for the cut, this should just be an offlaner for them. They're really only missing that sort of frontline tank, or at this point, maybe it doesn't even need to be the tank. You've got the Bristleback who's going to be relatively durable, so they could try to get a little bit greedier on Tingle if they want.
Yeah, and it's hard to decipher what he wants to play. Probably are not going to see the Magnus, probably aren't going to see what could be like, I don't know. It's hard to say, because a lot of these heroes were taken out. A lot of the best ones aren't really in the pool, and they are just going to go for it. Okay.
Okay.
Tingle King special. We saw how good he was in their 65-minute long game, but playing versus Abaddon, you don't have the biggest RPs. Your 2-man RPs could be 0-man RPs. Your 3-man RPs are really just going to be 1-man RPs. You constantly have to be careful about this Abaddon save, and this will be a little bit... it's going to be hard, I think, for him to get away with exactly everything, but okay, Wife Stealer. I mean, this is the endless hit hero. He's going to stick on pretty much all of these cores except for the Ember Spirit. However, this is going to be an empowered Ember Spirit, so really, I think the cut have a really, really strong lineup. They've really shored up all of their issues, and again, if Red 2 can have as good a performance as he did on the Void Spirit in the previous game, I am feeling very confident for the cut. the same time, two-based, they have gotten themselves ready to deal with this bristleback. If they can make him face him, get Boris a little bit more farm, see if they can find those easy punishments, then I 100% believe that two-base can take this to a game 3. But if they ever mess up their execution, they miss a sharpshooter, they miss a spear, the save is too good from Giant, then everything will fall apart incredibly quickly.
Their lineup is just so much built on just sort of building blocks, right? We hit A and then B and then C, and if some part of that combo just messes up at any point, the cut are going to punish you pretty heavily, and you have to go in for those combos. You can't afford to just sort of sit back, because then if you do, you've got 3 melee cores with a Magnus, so out farming them may not be viable. You need to try and outfight them, but if you don't land that combo consistently, then the fight is going to be get incredibly dangerous and incredibly difficult for them. So quite a lot sort of on the line here. The margin for error is incredibly small, but if you're two-based, it's a strategy they've gone for. They're going to have to sort of ride or die with this play, as they're down 0-1 in this series, looking to fight their way back into it. No team so far has been able to push a series to a full 3 games, so they would have to really be the first to pull off that feat.
And they definitely could. The only issue with their lineup is that if Boris is not able to hit this bristleback after Ags, there's just no chance. It's really going to be up to Einoi Monkeys Forever to force that matchup where the spear lands, you get to hit him in the arena, followed up by that Aether Remnant. They just need to chain their spells so well together. And at any point, that disconnect happens where maybe they make a few misplays here and there. The Cut have the type of lineup where if they get a lead, they are going to maintain that lead pretty much up until the game is over. They have the empowered Ember Spirit. They're going to have an empowered Bristleback. And we already saw in that previous game, if Scourge is able to get that Ags AC, those buildings just melt. He just does 500 damage and there's -5 armor everywhere. It's just not even fair. Hopefully, we're also going to see West Farm coming out from Pingu. I mean, somehow he was able to get Boots of Travel and like almost an Eth Blade and a Lotus Orb. Everybody on the cut was just firing on all cylinders. So that's where I think two-based don't necessarily get us comfortable. Don't pull an ego, boys. Don't sit and wait around for the enemy team's timings. If they can play some nice, clean Dota, again, in their Undying series, they were so good. They played so well. And of course, there's a techies in the game, but that doesn't mean that your players weren't playing out of their goddamn minds. And that's exactly what they need to do to force this game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what this team's capable of when they're playing at their best, so gotta hope for their sake that they can pull it out here. Well, their lives are on the line, metaphorically speaking. Not literally, we're not killing anybody at the end of the game, but if they want to remain in the event, they've got to win this one, and as you said, the potential's there. They just need the execution, and game 1 they didn't have it, but we'll see what they can do here. Bit of a tri-lane setup actually coming out for them. I don't think this is going to last very long. Maybe just go for 1 first blood attempt, because I really don't think they can afford to leave that lifestealer down bottom for an extended amount of time. So we'll see if they can make something happen here. It's going to be a little bit iffy for them. They'll need to maybe bait Scourge and Pingu forward a little bit, but gonna try. Jubei's sort of getting himself into the trees, pushing his way in. This is not going to work. Okay, Jubei's just gonna straight up TP bot. So, it was worth a try to a certain extent, and I'm glad that they really almost kind of half-heartedly go at it. If they really did stick around long enough to try, then Boris is going to be without his backup for, I feel, way too long. So maybe someone gets out of position. When they don't, Jubei's just going to TP down and try and sort of make this lane more bearable for his teammate.
I think the cool little play there is just you want to try and bait Pingu and Scourge into maybe going on Monkeys, because his posture was on paper terrible. He should have gotten punished there, but they sort of wait out to skill up those points. As soon as they don't see the goo, then he's like, okay, there's no reason for me to make Boris 1v2. And this is a lane where Boris does need to be sort of careful. Tingle King's got, 17 base damage on him. He's got a Coin Blade of his own. This is definitely a difficult lane to farm in, and oh boy, the silences. The curse is actually working so hard against them. That is scary. Yeah, I'm surprised he leveled it up. That's why the tip's coming through. Not even skilling up the shield, and he doesn't have an Oov either, so this is a little bit of a slower start for the ABBA, and a dangerous one at that.
Just kind of a weird idea. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, he waited to scale up the curse as whoop. Monkey's Forever able to find the kill on the Pingu up in the top lane.
Trade out.
Scourge, yeah. Does he have the mana? Yeah, he's got 2 mangoes. He should have the... Nope.
Nice from Flea.
Good play there. Scourge is going to be denied his return kill. So, first blood over to the side of simply two-based, but sort of to the point earlier on, the Abba waited till he actually TP'd down to the lane, I think, before he then scaled up the curse. So that wasn't a situation where he had it because they were trying to really make that play. I think he just sort of made that choice afterwards. I don't know. Just kind of weird, but he's got a point up in the shield now, so all is well. Boris really didn't get punished too heavily because of it, and we're just going to continue trying to get that lifestealer farming as Jubei is going to get hit up by those illusions.
It's so scary.
Oh my
That
god.
is terrifying. That's definitely going to be a regret for him. But at least they weren't able to get a kill going on Jubei. I think as soon as they miss the shockwave, they know that it's probably not the best idea to continue with the play. But this is just a lane that Tingle King doesn't want to lose. He's going to be able to farm pretty much no matter what. At the same time, they're just going to consistently...
Ooh,
Yep, they're playing
there
on
it is.
Jubei. And
Can they
the
get
body
their
box
shield?
too, under the tower.
I don't know. Jubei, he's got a little bit of HP, but there's that sounds from the illusions again. Another shockwave should finish it. Tingle. There it is.
Yep.
Okay. Shockwave comes through. Meanwhile, back up top, Monkeys was taken down. Pingu's able to get himself a little bit of revenge there as he and the Bristle would jump in, and they are going to be able to follow up the first blood play that they lost with back-to-back kills across the map. So, solid response really on multiple fronts as the Cut are able to get those two on the board.
And I really am surprised that they didn't go for the same lane setup they did before, because I feel like Monkeys and Boris really held down the top lane nicely before, because now, again, it feels like Jubei is sort of left without a home, even though he is going to be able to consistently heal up his lifesteal, give Boris the best lane he can. This top lane is always going to be a little bit scary for them, especially once they get a few more levels up. Level 4 isn't the biggest tick up for either the Viper or Scourge, but level 5 is going to be really rough, especially if they can get up onto this Hoodwinked, as we never see that Scurry really skilled up unless she's really underneath a lot of threat. And at least she's able to be pretty annoying here, but I don't think Scourge realistically should ever die.
Yeah, he would have to get massively out of position, and Monkeys would need to be there for the follow-up as well. That time you saw him kind of maybe start moving his way over a little bit on the back end of the play, but not actually in time to follow it up. So they would have to catch this Bristle insanely out of position, and now Scourge, with that point up in the Bristleback, is going to be even harder to sort of bring down. Meanwhile, middle lane, Red 2 is getting a little aggressive here. I Annihilate, he's going to lose the shield, but
he's got Remnant in
more
one.
damage.
Oof.
Okay, close call, but I Annihilate will survive, but Red 2 really starting to try and take control of the lane. We don't see a massive discrepancy in terms of the last hit count just yet, but that is presumably going to change. That Void has to go all the way back to the fountain. No regen sort of coming out to him, so it's going to take him out of the lane for a little while. Red 2 should be able to get an advantage, and this is what I absolutely want to see here for the Cut. One of the reasons why they were so successful in Game 1 outside of Scourge just massively farming was the fact that Red 2 was so aggressive. He ended the game with about 11 or 12 kills in that match. He was really that guy who sort of bridged the gap from the laning stage to maybe that 15 to 20 minute mark when the Bristle had the Aghanim Scepter available. So I'd like to see him sort of go for something similar here, and right now he is again just going to go Bully Eye Annihilate a second time. This time though, the Void is going to throw that Remnant out a little bit earlier, so Red 2 not quite able to make that play happen. Meanwhile, down bot, Jubei going to get hit up here by the silence
again, but yeah, he's just gone.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying. It really feels like he's sort of ruined this bottom lane with just the little skill up. He misplayed level 1, and now you even see him getting that second point disruption. It's pretty normal, but they just always have this very easy play to make onto really either of them. If Boris gets silenced either, they could immediately turn, and they've got the low enough cooldowns that it's something to risk. And even see Giant there not greeting out for the 5th point, doesn't let Boris very easily purge it off with the rage, so he's eating a lot of damage as well, and the resources they keep on having to spend to keep Boris in this lane, it feels pretty annoying if I'm two-based.
Meanwhile, Monkey's in some trouble up top. Scourge and Pingu are going to try and track him down. Oh man, this aggression coming out from this duo, it's just always there. We saw a similar sort of scenario in Game 1 from them, and they just run it back, and as of right now, it doesn't seem like TOOBASED have an immediate answer to it, and between the struggles up top and now this lane being accidentally sabotaged by the Abba, this does not feel great for the side of TOOBASED. They're not really that far behind net worth-wise, but you just feel like the Cut are getting more out of these lanes right now than their opponents, and you see all 3 of their cores currently at the top of that net worth chart.
And okay, Pingu gonna get speared. Yeah, he just
okay.
Yeah, he wants to die. Yeah, he accepted his fate there, but still, Scourge is untouched, and Pingu just continues to buy region for his team. And bottom, they actually
What?
got him.
Oh,
Oh
Boris.
no.
I Annihilate is in here, though, to try and make something happen, but Tingle's actually going to skewer him back. Shockwave deployed, but Tingle
Ooh,
wants
that's a
out. He's
nice
trying to get
shockwave.
back.
And now the
But
punish maybe? I
two
Annihilate,
in.
he's out.
Yeah, they got the disruption. Does he have anything at all? Really, any way to get out of this? He has no charge on the Astral. He is going to be able to pop the Resonant Shield, or Resonant Pulse, though, for the shield, and that may be enough. He's falling back. Red 2 wants to keep going, but at this point, he's kind of low on mana. He does have the Remnants, but he doesn't have enough to actually jump to them, so he's going to continue to throw the Sleight of Fists out there. Tingle King comes in for another Shockwave, but I don't think they're going to get anything out of this, but to be fair, they already got what they wanted. The Lifestealer goes down. Anything beyond this point is just going to kind of be a bonus.
And really, they had to use everything to get him sort of out. And even though he wasn't really under any kill threat, use all of your bottle charges, use everything on Juve. The Abaddon's back to base now, and top, more plays on a Pingu, and it'll work. And at least Boris is able to get something done. Yeah, with the haste rune, he just ran at him.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's really going to be your best opportunity to make something happen. So they do get some money into his hands. He moves up to second place in the net worth with that kill as well. So this is very much sort of manageable for TOOBASED. I mentioned earlier on, they're really not that far behind in terms of that net worth. So this can still go quite nicely for them, despite the fact that initially it looked like some of the lanes were getting a little bit rough, but still plenty of time. They just need to, again, keep their heroes safe and set up for that execution on that teamfight play later down the line.
And again, they are going to be equipped to deal with this Bristleback. Although Scourge's team has set him up nicely yet again with the stacks pretty much all around the map. That Ancient stack is continuing to get bigger and bigger as Giant has always made time to sort of walk over there. That is not going to be the biggest problem. It's going to be after the fact, and Annihilate has made a home down bottom, as it is pretty hard for either of those heroes to kill him unless he really messes up and shows all of his spells, but Red 2 has made his way back here, and I don't think really anything can happen except for him farming up the small camp. Yeah, it's just going to be a farm fest, but that's where I'm a little bit scared for TOOBASED, because this is exactly what happened in the previous game, and bottom, looks like Tingle King's going to get punished. Well, it's a nice RP, but...
Can he actually get away? No, Spear comes out. Monkey's able to clip him right at the very end, and they will find that kill. It is a nice RP, it just doesn't quite turn into what they wanted it to. Kind of a desperation defensive play there, and I believe that's the first RP of the game, and hits onto 3, but it doesn't really get the cut much of anything in terms of actual kills or value at that point.
Yeah, and whenever they do use it, that is their big stun. They don't have any other big stuns with the Shadow Demon. Talk about it a little bit, where it's a 4 position that isn't really able to rotate. You're kind of playing the economy game, and Monkey's, he has his ultimate, but he stayed out in here for a very long time, and Ember does not care about your ulti. He's just going to follow you. So he's just dead. Yeah. Well,
Monkey's
that's
just
kind of unfortunate.
overestimating, I guess, his own tankiness at that point. Thought that the arena would save him, and as you said, Red 2, he doesn't care about that. He can just jump right through it. Didn't even really need to there, as Tingle sort of came in for the last bit of damage
Pingu?
for him. But Pingu, yeah, he's going to get caught out. Good rotation in response there from TOOBASED. They get Annihilate in, and actually I believe Jubei, yeah, Jubei snagged the kill away, but it's still going to be a pick off there, trading out a 1-for-1, but 4 for support.
Flea, he TP'd bottom, so he needs to be a little bit careful. There's no trees for him to play in, but yeah, support's on its way.
Okay, Mars is back in, doesn't have the arena this time, but Tingle, that's a problem. That's his skewer. He now can't leave. Monkey's going to stun him up. Sharpshooter comes in, and it's a bit of a miscommunication there between Tingle and Giant, going to cost the Magnus's life. That I really felt kind of awkward between the two of them.
Yeah, and Red 2 is sort of pushing every single hero back into their base, and he's been incredibly effective. Ember is one of those more annoying matchups for Void Spirit. You don't have enough damage spell-wise to pop that level to Flame Guard up until you get a few more levels, so kind of sucks. Just sucks a little bit, but he hasn't really been able to make these plays, but now Flea's got to be a little bit careful. He's really the susceptible one to these ganks, but again, I feel like everyone is farming, and when everybody is farming, that just means that Scourge is going to be able to make his way towards that Aghanim Scepter. At least Boris has his armlet down, so he will be able to put a little bit more pressure on the maps. I think they should probably make this rotation up towards that top tower, but they just really want to defend bottom as long as they can, and it's not the worst idea, but I think they should really take the space instead, but they're afraid of being too passive. They don't want to lose the exact same way they lost in that previous game.
That was really something I think is kind of haunting them a little bit. They just waited a little bit too long as Monkeys. He tried for the spear. I think he would have had the connection onto the tree, but Red 2's able to dodge it. Can't dodge that, though. Bushwhack will lock him down. He threw out a remnant, but by this point, it's a little bit too far away. But as you said, at this point, it's just the Bristle farming again. He's got the Vanguard up. He's working his way towards that Ags, and he's going to be taking this rather sizable Ancient stack as well. So it feels like the Cut are sort of on a similar trajectory than they were, or to the one that they were on in Game 1. The kill count's maybe a little bit more even this time around, but as we saw in that last game, those early kills really didn't matter. Once Scourge had that item pickup, that's when everything changed. As Pingu, okay, gonna get sniped out in the middle lane. Boris is able to find that kill. Giant TP's in a little bit too late, but now Red 2, this feels very sort of risky for him. They're not gonna get this.
Yeah, nice save from Boris as well. If there was going to be a play, immediately out of that range, just with the Infest, and we'll have to see more of those Infest plays as the game goes on. It really does feel kind of broken. It's just instant HP, so there might be some cool saves onto both the Void Spirit and the Mars this game, but defending this mid tower is going to be pretty difficult here, especially with how heavy set the Cut are. They are ready to sort of make a little bit of a play here. Well, Tingle, he's got the RP. That was looking like he wanted to go for it, but he needs to catch a hero away from the Abaddon. Otherwise, it's just a brain-dead save. There's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, so for now, it's just going to be objective gaming for the Cut. They got a nice bit of damage onto the tier 1. The Glyph momentarily turns them back, but Scourge, just keep going. Nobody's coming to stop you, so you might as well get this tower down, as they will be able to pick it up. And now, Scourge is, what, about halfway now to that Aghanim Scepter. His teammate, though, will get picked off again, but at this point, Pingu, I really feel like his deaths are not massively impactful here. He's going down to basically create
Got the
space.
Bushwhack. Nice.
Great space for teammates, as Red 2 and Tingle, they tried to make a move there, but he's able to sort of get him up with the Bushwhack, walk away. But again, your Viper dying, it's really not doing too much. He's got the second lowest net worth in the game, and while he's dying, you're getting so much more space elsewhere on the map.
And that's where they do need to be very cautious on the Cut side. We're seeing now TOOBASED is getting out on the map way more. They're trying to play in at least 2 lanes at the same time. Right now, they're sort of getting away with 3, as Monkeys Forever and Scourge are sort of dueling out in the bot lane. Neither one can really kill each other unless Monkeys gets incredibly out of position or caught without a spear. But Scourge is uncontestable. There is nothing you can do versus him right now, and there really isn't a point in doing anything versus him. And that's where Pingu, I think, he's been in every spot he needs to be. He's been keeping these towers alive as sort of the sole defender while his teammates are finding farm and plays elsewhere. The only issue is that Tingle King and Ember and Red 2 aren't really able to make those plays just yet. While they are certainly able to get on top of the 2-based heroes, I think up until maybe you see this Maelstrom completed on Red 2, they don't have that burst potential, they don't have the damage, and Abaddon is just a little bit too stable of a hero to play versus. So we're really going to be waiting, again, for that Ags timing, and it feels like it's even faster this game. He's going to have it like 16 minutes, so once they have it, we're going to have to see, because the Cut, again, they sort of change gears, they shift up, and they're just going to immediately start running at you again.
At that point, we will put this strat from 2-base to the test, see whether or not they're actually capable of getting that Bristle back down. In theory, they have all the tools. That's another stack. Oh, man. That's a lot of gold. But in theory, they have the means to get into this Bristleback, to hit him up with the sort of with the break, get him sort of facing them so that they can do that damage and avoid the reduction. But as we sort of mentioned, coming out of the draft, it's going to come down to the actual execution for them. They need to be able to put that play together, and they need to make sure Giant isn't just sitting there waiting for the defensive play. He's already itemizing for that sort of defensive capability. We see the Aether Lens picked up. He's got a Blink Dagger queued up, so he knows he's going to be called upon to basically break up and disrupt that initiation, and if he can do so, a lot of this strat from Simply 2-Base kind of falls by the wayside.
Yeah, and the Aghanim Scepter is getting shipped out right now. As soon as he has it, we'll have to see what happens. And everybody else is sort of itemizing around that. We have a Blink Dagger now completed on Magnus. They know about it, though. There was that sort of failed skewer play mid. Just need to blink RP Boris, and then maybe they would have had an attempt. but they've kept speed. This time they're not falling behind very much. And Boris, once he has this Deso, he very well could kill Scourge if he's able to stick up on him. And again, it's all about execution. Monkeys Forever, he went for that Blink Dagger. He needs to find the backline. He needs to find what feels like several heroes because Giant, he's gotten a little bit more space to farm this game. He's got an Aether Lenge, and here we go, because now they're going to start pushing onto your tier 2s.
He's the only one in position to defend this right now, and there's only so much that this Hoodwink's going to be able to do. He'll slow things down a little bit, though, pulling that creep aggro away, and okay, they'll push all the way forward, just trying to sort of take out the creep wave there, and that should be enough to really keep this one going. Their new creep wave's coming up in just a few seconds, so maybe the backdoor protection kicks back in, but it looks like it's not actually going to get there in time. So the cut will continue to push their way forward, and what response, if any, do we see from that 2-base side? They're starting to push their way both mid and top, maybe hoping to break up this opposing lineup. But in the lane, yep, they've caught out Red 2. That's perfect. A good play in for Monkeys. Blinks in, drops the arena, gets the spear stun. Meanwhile, up top, Boris and Jube, they have to try and clear out. Scourge is just going to charge his way in, and I think they're just going to get Jube. No,
he's got Purge. RP. They saved it.
They got the Purge onto Boris. Tingle's holding that RP. He doesn't have the mana. Now he does, but he doesn't need it. Boris is taken down. Jube is going to be falling here as well. Already popped the ult, and they lose Red 2, but I think getting Boris there and an additional kill onto Jube is likely going to be worth it for them as Pingu. Okay, threw down the Viper Strike onto the Void Spirit. I think he was maybe anticipating that Scourge could get there a little bit faster, but they're not really going to have that follow-up play. But now Scourge, he's checking out the Roche pit, really. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's actually able to do it. This feels a little bit too early. If they get it, this is going to be absolutely massive for them. Once Pingu's over, Roche can't bash, so the Nether Toxin's really going to help them. But yeah, they've got to fight this. Even though there's no arena. Okay, Scourge.
That's a lot of damage being dealt. Tingle's already dead. Okay.
But the save.
Annihilate trying to get away. He's going to jump out with one of those charges, but it's the only one he had left, actually. He used the first one to jump in, so now he's just got to do some fancy dancing here with the Dissimulate, but it's not going to be enough. Annihilate will go down, and at this point it feels like the cut could get back in, but Boris has respawned, and he's making his way over, so this could get a little bit more complicated. Annihilate is actually going to buy back here as well, so they realize this is a serious threat. If the cut take Roshan, we're in some trouble, so they are going to buy everybody back, and they're actually moving into the pit themselves.
They do have the Shadow Poison to scout out what they're doing, and just Giant, he had the save, he dodged the Spear and the Sharpshooter, otherwise Scourge is in a lot more trouble, but yeah, they have to be careful walking down to this low ground.
There's going to be the RP in from Tingle, connecting onto 2 into the Shockwave. He gets the Skewer back as well. Monkeys is kind of isolated right now, but Scourge is starting to drop a little bit low, so he is trying to sort of step back for a moment, but once he sees that Sharpshooter has been deployed, he's going back in. They want these kills. Can they get it? Boris is in some serious trouble. He's going to jump out of his teammate there, I believe, and actually try to go for the kill onto Tingle King, and he will get it. So the mag is going to fall, but now Boris has nowhere to go. He's going to try to toggle the armlet, but there's really no chance. Scourge will pick him off. Meanwhile, Annihilate takes down Red 2, but he's so low on HP here, he really can't afford to go down. He is going to be able to grab the regen.
So lucky.
But Scourge, I mean, look at him go. He's just continuing to chase. I don't think, though, I don't think he's actually going to catch up, and eventually he will back himself away.
And Scourge, honestly, got so lucky there. If the Ember Spirit gets another barrage of spells onto him, he does just flat out go down. But Giant has been so good at keeping the pressure on with the Shadow Poison. Boris and Annihilate both have to be so careful with how they engage. And I think Red 2, I'm not sure if he was out of Remnants there, but getting taken down by the Void Spirit like that does feel pretty bad. You just get sort of popped after the fact, and then the map really does reset. And, well, Monkeys... looks like he found a freebie on a Pingu. Yeah, I know what you're saving him.
In for the snipe as he will actually take that one, but that's a nice kill for them. But now here comes Scourge pushing his way forward. Red 2's in there for the root as well, and they're just going to go straight to work trying to take down anyone that they can, but Red 2's got to back off already. Scourge is going to continue chasing after Flea, I suppose, but Monkeys tries going for the arena, and I don't know if this is going fantastically, but the Bristle is starting to sort of lose a little bit of strength, but there's going to be that disruption keeping him alive. The Purge comes out as well into Annihilate. They might just be able to bring him down. There's no longer an Astral Step Charge on him, so Annihilate will fall. Now Boris rooted up by the Searing Chains as well. He doesn't have the Rage, so he wasn't able to keep himself safe from it, but you need to be a little bit careful. Boris could try to turn, but there's Tingle in with the Skewer onto 2, pulling Flea back in. Boris will fall as well, and that should finally give the cut control of the pit. Everyone is dead on the side of TOOBASED, and buybacks just really aren't a thing right now. So it takes them about 2 or 3 attempts, but they do get Roshan.
And really, it feels like they never needed to fully commit if they were able to keep Scourge alive, and just a few spear misses here and there, just not able to find the right targets. And then sort of Scourge outplaying you there, where even though you got the Aether Remnant, it was pulling him actually away from you, and you just ended up hitting the back. It feels like Scourge is just such a master of the hero at this point. And again, now we're in a very similar situation where that was your try. You had to contest Roche. You did a pretty good job. I think the big mistake was having to commit the sharpshooter to get the pick onto Pingu, and you needed to, because if you didn't, Monkeys Forever was just going to get kited, turned on. He would have died for pretty much free. But you have to lose that crucial spell that, even though it's only a 45-second cooldown, again, you don't have it. You don't have it in that most key, most important moment. And now you're level 18 on Scourge. You have an Aegis. You have the Warpath. You're going for that AC next, and we're just getting a repeat of last game, it feels like.
And I mean, we said it in the draft, right? The fact that they needed, there was no margin for error. They needed to be able to get this execution perfect almost every single time. We weren't joking. That wasn't really exaggeration. You saw they land the Aether Remnant, they get the arena down, but if you don't hit the spear, it doesn't matter. If you can't get the sharpshooter hit to break the bristleback, you need every single aspect of that combo to hit. Otherwise, Scourge just keeps on pushing forward. So, I mean, they've got to sort of step it up here. Otherwise, they could be in some serious danger. As that is an RP for Flea. That feels a little excessive, but they're going to be able to secure the kill. But, I don't know, 2-minute long cooldown for...
Oh, mid?
Hold on, yeah, maybe they can get more as I Annihilate. He's trying to set this one up. He pulls Red 2 in. They're going to go for the arena, but yeah, there's the disruption again.
Yeah.
Giant, he's just going to do this every time. They really have to hit him up first, and they just haven't been able to do so.
And, ooh, he doesn't have chains, so he will be able to just TP out, but the save is just always there, and Monkeys, he already had to use this. Oh, no.
Spear comes in, so Scourge is at least going to get stunned up, but Tingle is going to skewer his way forward, and Scourge, he's right back into the fight. Monkeys is not getting out here. The Aphotic Shield will buy him a second or two extra of life, but Scourge, it's just a repeat of game one. He's an absolute monstrosity. There's nothing right now that TOOBASED can do outside of landing that big combo to try and actually slow him down.
And he's an empowered monstrosity this time around. Tingle King's just making him do even more damage, and again, they're continuing to struggle to find those openings. And while pretty much every aspect of your game is improved, you have this Boris on Lifestealer, he's able to show up to these fights. You don't have that backup plan where Boris is going to come out of the jungle with 3 items and then start playing Dota. After those really just 2 Roshan fights, it feels like we might need to see that split push game really come out a lot harder, see these heroes get in more dangerous positions, because again, if the Cut are able to keep this momentum, keep pushing forward, you don't have, I don't think, the Spirit Vessel getting built up. You don't have that break really on anyone. So as you miss that sharpshooter because of that disruption, I think the defensive tools on the Cut might just outweigh your own. And really, as soon as this Bristleback started playing Dota, Pingu stopped dying. He started to be able to just sit behind his teammate, solar crest him up, and if they're not able to focus that backline, they have to start ignoring Scourge. They have to let the Bristleback stay there without any teammates. If Scourge is caught alone, they might be able to kill him, but they're struggling to find the backline targets. That's something they need to start doing better. Annihilate has been looking. He's been trying on the Void Spirit, but it needs to be literally everyone. Monkeys Forever needs to start getting these bigger arenas. Otherwise, again, Scourge is just going to walk you down. He's got a Hyperstone now. His AC is almost there, and there's no stopping this Bristle at this point.
And now that Scourge is online, now that we see sort of Red 2 pushing in for more of this, much like we saw in game 1, now you start enabling those supports. You mentioned Pingu wasn't dying before. Now he's not just not dying, he's starting to farm. Boots of Travel are going to be up for him in just a little bit. Giant, meanwhile, as we said, actually opted away from the Blink Dagger. He's going to go for an Aghanim Scepter at this point for that Purge upgrade, just to sort of try and keep the cores from TOOBASED sort of on the back foot. So this is always the thing that sort of really impressed me about this play in game 1. It's not just a solid performance from Scourge. It's the fact that the supports are now able to do so much more, as they're now getting some farming priority as well. As the tier 3 will go down, Scourge just daring them. Just go in. See if you can get him. He's got the Aegis for 20 more seconds, so he knows he still has that buffer, and simply TOOBASED really can't afford to sort of rise to that challenge right now. They just have to let that tower go and let their opponents walk away.
And they really don't have any room for error. If they use the arena, try to get those exit kills, Boris would have to TP act absolutely perfectly. But again, you don't really have the damage coming in from him. He has a Sanjin Yasha. We don't have that Basher. We don't have that Deso. We don't have that AC completed yet. And look at the vision coming in from the cut. A lot of it should get dewarded here, but they immediately say, okay, let's do lanes. We don't have our Aegis anymore. Let's let it expire naturally. We're not going to throw our lead. We learned from our D2 Hustlers matchup. We can just play in 3 lanes now. We can just push out the waves, get this farm up. And like you said, Boots of Travel completed on the Viper, BKB on the Ember Spirit. The items are coming and they're coming fast. And now you have this incredibly annoying Ags on Tingle King as well. Whereas these items are just not there on the 2-base side. Biggest item coming out is definitely going to be this Aghanim Scepter on the Void Spirit. It's going to be that little bit more control, going to be able to hold down that backline. And that's where, if Giant's positioning does falter for even a moment, you have the Void Spirit. He needs to get on the backline. He needs to swing this game. And they are getting split pushed a little bit. The Cut aren't able to find these creep waves, meet them at the towers. And this is exactly what 2-base need to do. But still, in the back of your mind, you can't help but feel Scourge. He's got a full AC now. He's working for BKB. After BKB, what do you do? I'm honestly not entirely sure. I think they still just need to ignore him. They need to find other targets, but everyone else on the cut, they're just itemizing so strongly. They are not really going to give up any ground.
Yeah, there doesn't appear to really be that sort of clear-cut weak link. Obviously, there's a hero in Scourge that you just don't want to sort of push into, but outside of that, in theory, they know what they need to do, right? We mentioned before, they got to get onto that backline. Pingu and Giant need to be sort of picked off, but that is so much easier said than done. Giant's finished off the Ag, so he's got those multiple purge charges. Pingu ostensibly would be sort of the easiest target, but he's fast now to the point where I'm not sure they can catch up with those boots of travel. So, as you said, they're just itemizing so well as, yeah, Jubei. Be able to get himself out of there, but that was a bit of a close call. And meanwhile, up in the top lane, Pingu can actually jump him. They need the spear. There we go. We'll be able to connect that. Sharpshooter's coming in here, but now Red 2 wants into the fight. And Pingu's actually still not dead yet.
Got a BKB TP.
Get the TP out. Yes, he can. Red 2 doesn't quite have that much damage, so they're able to get everybody away. It's a quick kill onto the Viper, but we're sort of falling back now to that strat, to the pick off the Viper, and that's really all we can get. So maybe they can sort of translate that first pick off on the Viper into something bigger, but he's still the lowest net worth hero on that side for the cut. So really, they continue to sacrifice him or go back to sacrificing him to create space for the rest of the lineup as I Annihilate. Be a little bit careful here, hanging out in the jungle, very close to multiple enemy heroes, but I don't think they actually spot him out there. Well, they see him now with the creep wave, but at this point it should be too late. I Annihilate should be able to get out of here just fine.
And he is going to walk. Oh no, he's going to get CP canceled.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Red 2 hits him up with the Searing Chains. There's going to be the Shockwave coming in as well, and he's going to have to make a mad dash for this one, but he's not getting away. Red 2 hits him up for the kill. Giant using 1, maybe 2 of those purge charges, but they're able to get it, and now what do you do if you're 2-based? You are down your Void Spirit. That was sort of the hero that we were looking at to potentially jump onto that backline in the fight, so they have to wait for him to get back up, or they have to be willing to commit the buyback, and right now, neither of those decisions, seems all that appealing.
And Jubei, okay. Gonna get chains. Yup.
TP canceled. Courier's dying. Scourge picks off both of them, and Jubei will be taken down. So the cut. Can they do this? Backdoor protection's here. Scourge is gonna maybe give it a go, but I don't really think he gets this.
Yeah, he's just trying to force something, I guess. He really needs his teammates to get the wave, but the cards have sort of tangled things up, but now Tingle King, Boris can't TP. You have to watch this so closely.
There's going to be the Searing Chains. Shockwave coming in as well, pulling him back a bit. Pingu does get picked off by monkeys, but they really do need to protect Boris right now.
Needs to hop in the Mars. The Horn Toss.
The RP. RP onto 2. Horn Toss sets it up. Boris is dead. Monkey's down as well. That is
in all things.
Excellent timing from Tingle. Exactly when Boris was sort of looking for the bailout play. They jump in onto him. They take down both, and now Scourge, he's still in position on the front line to continue pushing this one in.
Yeah, just absolutely finessed. And here we go. They're actually making an attempt onto him. This is a lot of damage. Oh, they got him.
It's what they've been waiting for really all game long. They do get it, but now Red 2 looking to make him pay. Pushing in. BKB activated. Flea gets taken down first. They get the Purge in onto the Void Spirit as well. Can they actually bring him down, though? Not just yet. I Annihilate still on the run. Red 2 at this point might want to back off. Mana is starting to sort of become an issue for him. And Now he's going to get silenced up. Astral steps on him as well, but I Annihilate, as of right now, can't get the kill. Tingle wanted the horn. He did go for it, but Annihilate's able to dodge it with the Dissimulate. So that is the first time we have actually seen that combo work. It's Scourge's first death of the game, and it comes at a time where they well and truly needed it. If they couldn't take him down there, that probably would have been tier 3 and maybe the melee racks taken mid.
Yeah, and Red 2, so effective. Same with Tingle King, just absolutely finessed both Boris and Monkeys, but Scourge got a little ahead of himself. He doesn't have the BKB. That was Ionite just simply respawning, having enough damage, and he does need to respect them. He doesn't have a Lotus Orb, he doesn't have a Hood of Defiance, he is not the strongest versus that magic damage, and if there's any hero in this game that can deal with that Bristleback, it is the Hoodwinked. And now, even Flea, he's working on an Aghanim Scepter, he almost has it as well, but even though he did die, you did sort of lose out on that timing. Maybe you had a 20 or 30 second window there where you didn't have the Magnus or the Lifesteal, or you could have hit that tier 3, but everything is going to come back to this Roshan. And really, that's what all that split pushing was sort of building up to. Are you going to be able to take this fight now? If you're 2-based, do you have the buybacks? Do you have the items? And really, Annihilate, he's trying to become the hero they need. He's working on that Kaya Sanj. He does so much magic damage. And again, if the Giant is just not next to Scourge for just a second or two, he can definitely take too much damage, where if he gets too low, there's no healing coming out from the cut side. So there's no real easy way for him to reset. He doesn't have the most health regen, there's no heart, there's no urn, and big fight.
There it is. Annihilate's in for it. They're going to be able to blow up Giant right away, but immediate buyback coming through from that Shadow Demon. He's going to TP onto the outpost, so he's right back in here with his teammates. Red 2, meanwhile, jumping forward onto the Remnants, looking to break this up as much as possible.
Nice
but
spear.
2-base, excuse me, they're maintaining cohesion. That is really the number one thing for them. Could not afford to get split up there. And honestly, that doesn't go too poorly. You get down the Shadow Demon, you force that buyback. Now if you take him out again, he's not coming back. So this could be the moment for them. We'll see if they can pull it off.
This is the
smoke
jump.
is going to pop. Silence out onto 2, but Annihilate not able to really follow it up just yet, but now they are going to try and go in. They've got Pingu sort of further up to the north. They're going to be able to take him down first, but over on the other side of the fight, they lose Flea. Monkey's in some trouble as well. Jube's already going to have his ultimate popped, looking to just TP himself back home, but actually they don't manage to cancel that, so instead they're in onto Annihilate. But Void Spirit able to jump away, using the Dissimulate, but he's still going to get broken by the Purge, locked down by those Searing Chains. He's dead, and Boris is now in trouble as well. Monkey's trying to save the day there with the Spear, but the RP in from Tingle. They lock down Monkeys. Boris tried to invest into his teammate, but wasn't enough. Boris goes down. Monkeys falls as well. The path to the Roche Pit is open once again, and it looks like the Cut have pretty clearly managed to win that fight and maintain control. 4-for-1 trade overall.
And now you have the BKB finished on the Bristleback. 25 is going to be there as well. He's going to start doing 600 damage a hit. Just look at the Roche. And they just broke down that little bit more. They had the 2-man silence again. Tingle King got immediately sort of trapped up by that Void Spirit. They were trying to play the controlling game, but Flea just gets taken out. There isn't the structure there. There isn't anybody to stand in front of him. You get a haste rune on Monkeys. You're able to walk away from those two heroes. They run out of disable, but then he just comes back in because he needs to help out his teammate. And even though Boris was able to dodge that RP with the Infest, it feels like now Flea is just dived in on. Jube's got to save him, but he's just taken back all the way.
The extended skewer there, as well as Tingle King did get himself that talent at level 20, so way too far. Jube can't save, and oh my god, Jube.
Yep, 700 damage. Look at him go. 25 Bristleback.
And at this point, it just feels like there's nothing that 2-base are going to be able to do. Melee racks will be falling top. They can just turn their attention back towards mid. Monkeys, though, okay. In for the spear, but the cheese is immediately going to be popped. So Scourge back up on his feet, full HP and mana. Second lane of racks taken. They can't go for the third just yet, as there is a tier 2 out here, but I mean, it feels like they can just get through that fairly quickly. Scourge is just doing stupid amounts of damage with this maxed out Warpath. That level 25 talent makes him just too damn strong, and they're just going to push through, really. They've got to wait for their creeps, maybe, but after that, they're just going to push in, and at this point, it feels like 2-base are going to have maybe one more chance, at the most, to turn this fight. If they can't somehow win this next one, that should just about be it.
And really, if you are 2-based, the comms right now are they're gonna come high ground. We need to find a huge arena. We need to get onto the Shadow Demon. After the Shadow Demon, we need to focus the Magnus. If they get any spells off on the Cut, it's going to be over. If anything lands on their side, that's just the game that we're in now. It's going to be GG. So here we go. This is really just the moment. If anything misses, then it's going to be over. Oh, that's going to be Mega Creeps because of the spear.
0 for 1 on the initiation so far, and yeah, as you said, that's just going to be Mega. Scourge takes it. Monkey. Oh, God, monkeys. Oh my God, the man just got chunked. He's still alive. His teammate, though, not really going to be able to say the same. That Void is in some serious trouble. He is broken, and he is alone on the back line, as they will be able to bring him down. Jubei falls as well. Monkeys is going to get picked off here, too, and I think that might just be it. We do see buybacks, though, coming in. They're going to give it one last go, but they've got to win this fight here and now. Otherwise, it's just going to be too late for Fleet. Going to get jumped in on, using the Scurry, though, to get himself through that tree line. So for now, he will live, but look at Scourge. He just continues to push his way forward. Jubei going to have his ult popped right away, but they're trying to go in. There's going to be the RP, though, out from Tinkle King once again. Red 2 dies, but immediately buys back, looking to rejoin the fight. He's already backing onto the front line, but Boris and Monkeys, I mean, they're trying to hold the line. They do get one kill. Annihilate's able to take down Tingle King as well, so this isn't looking too bad for them, but now there's going to be the Void Spirit going down.
Yeah.
Monkeys falls as well. It's down to Boris, and he's just on the run. He's trying to get somewhere where he can save himself, but there's no infest. His rage was just used, so once that wears off... Oh, nope. Okay, able to blink away, but there's Red 2 backing
It's still
onto
going
him.
to be over. Yep. Ugh.
There's
GG
the
called.
GG. Red 2 finishes it off with the triple kill and the cut. I mean, the playoffs bring out the best in them. Back-to-back matches where they look so much better than anything we really saw in the group stage, for sure.
Yeah, they really just played around their timing. Scourge hit an even faster Ags, and while TOOBASED, they were ready. They drafted completely around the fact that this Bristleback was going to be in their game. It felt like they ran out of time. They ran out of sort of the tools, and really those two Roshan fights were sort of the nails in the coffin. Where first one, okay, sure, it's a little bit unfortunate. Maybe you miss 1-2 spells, but that's sort of how important those spells were, where you give the cut just a little bit of an opening. Their lineup, they can throw out whatever they want. They can really just throw out the entire kitchen sink and see what sticks, and it works because their heroes are so non-committal. Really, nothing relies on them, and if anything hits, you've got Magnus, you've got the chains, you just have this constant barrage of spells coming out, where the lineup coming in from TOOBASED, it felt like if they ever missed, if they ever wasted anything, it was just going to be it. They would run out of too much damage. And again, the teams going forward, you got to look at this Bristleback and say, this has happened twice in a row. This is their opener. This isn't something that TOOBASED weren't prepared for, but the cut, it felt like their play just outweighed everything. They honestly just had such good performances.
Yeah, just a weird sort of situation there. The cut really loved to put Scourge on that Bristleback. We saw that in the group stage, as you mentioned. It's not new. It's not something they just sort of came into today with. It had been one of their more sort of preferred strategies earlier on, and I can understand letting it through in game one, right? Because TOOBASED feel they're going to be able to handle it, right? They took a 1-1 draw against this squad in the group stage. They think they sort of have what it takes to get through that, but when you fail to get that Bristle in game one, especially in an elimination series, it just feels like it's better to just remove it, ban it away, force the cut to beat you with something else. Don't let them just sort of run back with a similar strat the second time around. And unfortunately, the second time around, while they do better in this game, simply TOOBASED simply don't have enough. They can't really deal with Scourge again. In fact, as we sort of pointed out, he got that Aghanim Scepter, I think, about a minute or so earlier than he did in the first game. And at that point, you're all in on this sort of combo. You needed that break from the Hoodwink. You needed the either Spear Stun or the Remnant out from Annihilate. And they were able to get pieces, but they weren't ever able to really get all three at the same time. And that's truly what they needed to keep Scourge under control.
And really, it just feels like the cut, fantastic performances coming in from the stands. And I think that was really the big difference maker in this series, where Red 2 in Giant, it felt like they came up to the plate. It felt like they were not going to get eliminated today. And man, oh man, did they show up. This is the first time I think we've seen this pair of stand-ins really separate themselves from the pack and really hold their own. So, I mean, playoff cut, they're looking very, very strong.
Absolutely. Fantastic performance from them. And now I do believe we have Scourge himself waiting for the interview. So give us just a moment here to set this one up, and we'll get him in here for that post-series interview. Just one moment. Gonna pull him on in here. There we go. Oh. Okay, well, hold on just 1 second. We're having a slight issue here actually getting Scourge into the room.
Yeah, someone's got to give him like perms or something.
Yeah, we've got some Discord issues here real quick, folks. On just a moment. We gotta get admin in here. Like,
Yeah, sort of filling dead air. Man, the cut looks so good. I love seeing Tingle King play this Magnus. Every single time he gets it, it just feels like he owns, honestly. And having horn toss added to the game has added so much sort of flavor in that hero, and I'm sure they're all happy because they're all getting empowered, right? But really, I am surprised this Magnus hasn't been seeing more play. I think we saw what, maybe 1 or 2 days wherever the Magnus really started coming into its own. We saw a few teams first phase. We saw Undying and Four Zoomers first phasing it, and then sort of dropped off the face of the earth. But honestly, I hope we see more of it because Tingle, it just feels like he's played so well with it. Even in that 65-minute game, he was really the one keeping their team in it for that entire duration.
yeah, I mean, just some hero plays on it, and a hero that, I mean, we see what it's capable of. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get that kind of contribution every time, but the potential is pretty substantial in the right hands, and I think we would definitely count Tingle as the right hands there. So,
Here, KMart, you want to go there? We'll just meet him.
oh yeah, we can just do that. We'll just move over. We're going to fix this. Hold on, folks. Okay. Um, there we go. We're here. Scourge, are you here?
Yeah, hey.
There we go. Sorry about that. We're having some Discord trouble, but we've got you in now. So, first and foremost, congratulations. 2-0 sweep for you guys. You looked absolutely incredible in that series. Looked good and took care of business. Very well done.
Thank you.
So, first thing I do want to ask you right away here, because you guys played up against Simply Two Base just a few days ago on the back end of the group stage. The matches in that series, I believe I did note it down here. Game 1 was about 50 minutes. Game 2 was 65. This time around, it really didn't seem like you guys were wasting much time. Really getting in there with a faster, sort of more up-tempo style. Was that something that you sort of really wanted to specifically target heading into this matchup, or did you guys just sort of hit the timings and just sort of roll from there?
See, we haven't practiced the last 2 days. We sort of took like a bit of a break. We were practicing really hard, like for the group stage though, even though we didn't do that great. But we were having roster issues for most of the group stage also. But the last 2 days we just sort of took it off and we just sort of did what we wanted to do against them the first time. I think the series was pretty bad for them in hindsight. It looks like they got baited by a lot of things that they thought we wanted to do when in reality it was just our reactions at them the last time, and now they're just like getting baited by that series. I think that series did like a lot more good for us than it did for them.
Yeah, definitely felt like you guys had just, I guess, sort of figured them out. They weren't really sure what was coming their way. So it was unbelievably impressive for you. And I do got to ask one thing, because ET and I were kind of talking about it a little bit there in between those matches. So you come in, game 1, you get your bristle, you wreck everything in front of you, right? Heroes, buildings, creeps, didn't matter. You were just destroying everything. And then we go into game 2, ET and I are mentioning, definitely don't let him play it again. And they let you play it again. Were you kind of surprised that the bristle was there for you a second time after
Uh,
the first game?
yeah, I thought they would switch things up like a lot, but they just gave us the same game. And we were even before we like decided what we wanted to do in this game, we were thinking of like even switching things up potentially because we thought they would too, right? But they just gave us the same things, and it didn't look like they knew how to counter it in game 1. So it's like, we just did the same things again, and they didn't look like they knew how to counter it in game 2 either.
Just, I don't know. We were just kind of surprised about it. It seems like you guys were as well, but worked out for you in the end. ET?
Yeah, I mean, the only question I have is you're the big player, right? It feels like, especially having two stand-ins, not having your normal mid laner, the way that your team really plays right now is really rallying around you, getting these huge, massive farmers. We've seen you on the Naga, the Wraith King, pretty much the entire tournament, sort of your bread and butter. Really, nothing's changed. Is playing with those stand-ins, do you kind of have to be like, guys, give me space, move over, let me take the creeps? Do you ever have to push around your teammates a little bit just to sort of become that winning objective?
Yeah, well, we're trying a lot of new things. In like the last DPC, we didn't win any games, went 0-14, obviously. And we honestly weren't really practicing for it, and we wanted to try to practice more, and I'm trying to like captain more in and out of the games. And yeah, I'm trying to tell my team what to do. The hero things, I think it's just what we think is strong that we're picking. I don't think we're like trying to give me all the farm, but I do kind of like playing like that, I guess I would say.
Okay, okay, not bad. And I guess going forward, now that you are in Div 2, does anything change? Are you guys going to try? Of course, the goal is to just do well, try to get up into that Div or Division 1 again. Is that just the end goal? Try to get back up there, play with the big boys?
Honestly, I've been really confused at how things are working because like there's gonna be such a long break before like TI before the next season, so I'm not sure if invites stand or like teams are gonna obviously have roster shuffles, I assume. So I'm not really sure how that's gonna work, but like if we get an invite for Division Two, I assume we'll like have some similar roster sticking together for it, and yeah, try to go to Division One again.
Okay,
But right now,
nice.
actually, TI qualifiers is what's next, and we're probably gonna try to play in that. But yeah, with these roster issues, and one of our players might go on like some trip to Korea. uh, it's all up in the air still about like TI qualifiers even. But the next thing that we would be looking forward to is that if we're able to be playing it with our players and stuff.
Okay, nice. I mean, you got something to prove, right? 0-14, and I mean, you can clearly take games off of these teams. TOOBASED are in Div 1, so I mean, I hope
Yeah,
that we get to keep your the core alive, you know?
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, considering DPC maybe wasn't the best for you, you guys came into this with sort of multiple stand-ins, but you're still in it. You're still alive, and two-based or not. So, congratulations to you. This was really some of the best Dota I think we've seen from the cut so far, and very much excited to see what you guys do in that next round going up against D2 Hustlers. So, congratulations and good luck moving into that next round.
Thank you. Justice for Empyrean, by the way.
Oh,
Absolutely.
oh, hit him with it.
You got to go in for the memes at the end, man. That's if you don't, then what's the point? But yeah, Scourge, thank you very much for stopping by and speaking with us. Appreciate you taking the time here. And once again, congratulations. You guys were the better team today for sure.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Bye bye. Follow the cut Twitter, the cut GG. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Goodbye. Thank you very much. So, gotta always get in the plugs as well. Memes and shameless plugs. Those are the two things that you always got to remember uh, post game. But yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of blown away by this. I mentioned during the game it was kind of a almost meant to be kind of a tongue-in-cheek sort of thing, but where has this level of play been from the cut all group stage long? They looked so much better and so much more comfortable here as well. And I think really in that next round, D2 Hustler's going to have to sort of watch out. This cut squad feels like they might be just about to maybe round that corner and hit their stride.
Yeah, and I do feel like two base, like Scourge kind of said there, gave them exactly what they want. They got to play the same game twice. It felt like they didn't have the answers to what the cut were throwing down. And I mean, after a week, I hope that you're going to be able to get a little bit more comfortable with these stand-ins. And they've been playing with Giant pretty much the entire time. Red 2, I know, is sort of the one that they swap out between him and Wage, but I hope Red 2 is able to stay in for the rest of these playoffs because really, those two games, perfect showcase of his skills.
Yeah, absolutely incredible for him. Double-digit kills across both of those matches. So the cut feeling like they're starting to build up some momentum. They'll be going up against D2 Hustlers tomorrow afternoon, I believe. So for today, that is going to do it for us. We have had two series rather on the schedule, each of them resulting in a 2-0 sweep. Infamous and now the cut move on to the next round. While we will be saying goodbye to Ego Boys and Simply Two Based. So with that being said, tomorrow's matchups, we've got another split between SA and NA, actually. It's going to be Hikori taking on Infamous, as well as D2 Hustlers up against the cut. So we are going to be in for some more exciting stuff, some more elimination matches coming up tomorrow afternoon. So we would absolutely love it if you join us for it. We'll be there, obviously. It's going to be kind of awkward if we're not, but yeah, day 3 of the playoffs will be coming up tomorrow. As for today, we are done and dusted. So thank you all one last time for hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.